Well, we got to not kill that. It's got to just be in the catch zone.
I mean, my gut is like hack to board and just roll 3 feet. 2 feet.
Yeah? Yeah, I think it's probably just hack.
You're always touching the 6.
I don't know that this leaves the 4-foot with hack.
Really good spots for Miller.
I think John's in a situation where he needs to send one of the right guards back.
Yeah, and it's dead nose and just, it's going to go spinning. This actually might catch two and just leak back.
I think it does.
Okay, so it might, close to dead.
Hammer something.
Extra focus of the players, because sometimes you just couldn't hear yourself thinking, and we needed to like use signs and show what we meant instead of just shouting out a number or like play this hit and roll kind of thing. We had to show everything, so that added another level, I guess, to our game. After that, we've been a little better when the crowd is loud or when you can't hear as well.
Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for line ever.
No, they like line. Now does it have the speed? They like the line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Ryland Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions. And battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Last draw, 8th in. From the tie to Isabel Verano.
All right, Toronto, we're about 20 seconds till we go to air. So let's pump this up. It's Saturday night in Toronto. Let's hear you. 1, 2, 3. Trying to get you. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
Sometimes for Bamford Spain, heave away, me Johnny, heave away.
Welcome to the semifinal action. Curling fans from around the world. We got a great matchup tonight. Anna Hasselborg and her team from Sweden taking on Tirinzoni from Switzerland. In front of a packed house here tonight, Ryan Fry in Toronto. A great atmosphere, and I think we're in for some great games tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited. Number 2, number 3 team in the world. It's a pretty good semifinal matchup. Anna Hasselborg starting with hammer because of her success in the round robin, getting the direct bye in the semifinals.
We can meet your teams here. We got Sophia Mabergs at lead, Agnes Knockenhauer, Sarah McManus at third, and Anna Hasselborg. I think she's the reigning. Did she win the gold medal at the last Olympics? Or was that 2 Olympics ago? That was in Pyeongchang, 2018.
2 Olympics ago, yeah.
Olympic gold medalist. And for Team Tirinzoni, we have Carol Howald, Selena Witschonk, Alina Patz, and Silvana Tirinzoni. I think I did pretty good on those.
You nailed that. I'm glad you're doing color, J-Mo.
Well, you got a grade 10 education, and I think I got a grade 11. So between the two of us, we should figure it out, eh?
We're pretty good.
I think they're going to be staggering the starts here, so we still have a little bit of time before this game gets going. And the staggered start allows the fans to really never miss out on any of the action. So 2 of the games, the game between Homan and Kim has started already. And the game between Mowat and Jacobs on sheet A has started. And our 2 delayed games will be our feature game here with Hasselborg, Tirinzoni, and Yannick Schwaller and Matt Dunstone are going to wait as well.
Yeah, they're definitely giving us a good time to fill here, eh?
Yeah, why don't we go over some of the team strengths and weaknesses. We'll start with Team Tirinzoni. Fry, what do you think of
these teams are so built for success right down the line, J-Mo. When you look at the hitting ability of Team Hasselborg, I definitely would have to say that's one of their strengths. They play a pretty wide open game. They like keeping things pretty close, taking advantage of as many mistakes as they can from their opposition. Then when you look at Team Tirinzoni, they're a little more apt to the draw game. Silvana's got a very good touch. She's very good at setting up Alina, and Alina's one of the premier athletes in our sport. She's been proving that consistently over the last few seasons.
Yeah, they're definitely the backbone of that team, Silvana and Alina. We've seen a few lineup changes with that team throughout the years, but one consistent theme with that team is the backhand, and I don't know if there's too many players that play the finesse game better than those 2 right there. So I think if you're looking at the tactics for Switzerland before the game, is they're going to want to get it to junk it up a bit, play a bit more aggressive, and force the Swedes into as many draws and tap-ups as they can, and rather than keeping it wide open. So we'll see how this we'll see how this kind of pans out here. And the one addition in the last few years is with the no tick rule when you get that center line on the first and second stone on the center line. So I think that if anything would bode into the Swiss favor, because it would allow them to get a bit more rocks in play. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a big game for Anna Hasselborg and her team. They're coming off a little bit of a tough Worlds. I know there's a lot of disappointment there. They've been training extremely hard, and sometimes when that doesn't come to fruition, it's easy to take a step backwards. So, for them to make a semifinal here and have an opportunity to go into a final, they've won an event already, a Grand Slam event already this year. So, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat in this game. To be honest, starting with Hammer, they're very, very motivated to finish out this season strong, which is gives you that motivation. You've definitely won your last game once or twice in your career. You know the benefit of winning that last game and having that motivation to go through the summer.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're the hungrier team. Hasselborg, they played pretty well at the Worlds, but obviously didn't get the finish they were looking for. So I think they've showed it this week. They've come out strong, and I think they'll be tough to beat tonight.
And this team of Anna, well, both teams, but Anna's team especially is a very, very fire team. They wear their emotions completely on their sleeves. So you'll see it out here tonight. And here we go. First rock, the semifinal game between Anna Hasselborg and Sylvana Tirinzoni.
Looks like they're putting up a center guard here, getting right into it early, which is nice to see. So Hasselborg here looks like she's just going to be coming around this one. Get her buried into the top of the house. Ice has been, as usual, great all week. It's been a little bit, some patches here and there that I think have fooled a few curlers here and there, but for the most part, stones were going to where the curlers want them to go, so that's a good sign of great ice. And I know the crew of Mark Shirk and John Wall have sure done a great job over the years, and I guess it's Johnny Wall's last event here.
That's what we're hearing, yeah. Taking a little time off. So there's really two strategies you can play when when the opposition puts up a centerline guard. The option is to either go behind it. So I guess there's three options: go over to the side or play a corner guard. Going around the center is definitely the more defensive approach. It's trying to generate a steal, but or trying to generate a 2 points, but with not too much risk of giving up a steal.
Yeah, and that was kind of a little bit surprised they played that run back on the last one. I think I've seen it actually happen on 2 sheets in a row here. Kim did the same thing, and what it does is it automatically opens up the end again, which is exactly what it's done. So I think if anything, that would be in the favor of the Swedes here. So. But when you put that nice tight guard there and you make those runbacks pretty easy, that's hard to.
Yeah, you used to hide the leads there down at the bottom there because they couldn't make these runbacks. Now they're expected to make them 50% of the time. The game is evolving very rapidly.
Yeah, you got to have all the tools in your toolbox at any position now in the game. So it looks like a close hit and roll here for Tirinzoni. Great shot by Carroll. Gets it half under cover, and to your point, Anna, rather than chasing with hack or freezing, she's playing this run back, trying to keep it nice and open this end. They'll likely be going for the blank here now and keeping that hammer into the second end if they can. Agnes, one of the best hitters in the game on the women's side, and she's made these shots time and time again. Little bit of a jam there. Looked like it curled on them a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a slight miss. Gives advantage to Team Tirinzoni. She'll be attempting to draw around this center guard to the top 4 foot.
Test. Come back. You can come back. It's every 20 minutes or so. All right, so nice come around there from Tirinzoni. Looks like they've left the chase available here for Anna and her squad. Now we get to see the soft touch here from Agnes.
Yeah, and this is where an end goes from, you know, you're looking to play a very defensive end, and now you're forced into a very, very difficult chase here. These have to be made, or it really puts you behind the 8 ball in the end here. She looks a little wide here, Johnny.
Not quite. That's about a half shot at best. So
yeah.
The Swedes a little bit off early here, and Switzerland's able to keep some pressure on them.
And those chases are really about hitting your weights now. If you're able to call for a 12-second takeout or an 11-second takeout, and you hit that number, you can get the broom in the right place a lot easier. If you miss those weights, that's when you tend to either slide towards hitting the guard, or you can end up a little wide like you just saw there.
So Silvana will want to try and put this top forefoot fully buried. Pretty much replace it, but try to get it a little bit higher and a little bit more buried.
Which would then force the run back. The Swiss teams have really adopted this new way of sweeping, Johnny. What do you think about that? It's got a little hop to it. That's
hop Swiss. Yeah, it seems to be. You know, they're hard to beat. Those the Swiss men have really had a great season this year too, and I think they're on the same sweeping strategy as the women. So they're onto something. I got to say one thing. I would say the Europeans are the best in the world at sweeping technique and kind of figuring it out early. Between the Scots and the Swiss, they've really got that dialed in, and I think it's really led to been a big part of their success over the last 4 or 5 years. So Anna changing gears here because the blank's probably out of play at this point. She's going on the offense, and a great shot there by the third. Turn the table and put the pressure back on the Swiss all of a sudden.
Definitely a great shot, and forcing Silvana into playing this this run back. And this is a difficult run back because if you end up not hitting it on the right angle, you actually leave the center guard, which is the guard that's actually guarding the stone that is shot rock. So this comes with a little bit of risk. If they make it, they're in great position. But if they do happen to over curl or slightly under curl, you'll see Anna want to draw another one behind that center, which takes opens up the opportunity for a 3.
They're on it early here. Looks like it's over curling.
A little fortunate there that she did end up taking out off the center guard, but this will lead to hitting the open one, I'm sure.
Sometimes you get that in the first end where the ice is just a little fresher, and I think for sure on that last one for Silvana, it looks like she might have been a little bit tight and it grabbed that early. Sometimes when you play 3 or 4 shots in a row, that'll hold a little bit better. But yeah, so advantage Swedes. They're going to probably play a freeze over there.
Yeah, it's a difficult shot in the first end because there's not a lot of, when you only get 2 shots up and 2 shots back each, so you get to throw 4 stones in the practice. So in total, you get 16 stones to practice with, and you don't use those a lot of times to throw a draw to the edge of the 8 here. So it's a little bit of guess on line and weight, but like you said, the ice has been fantastic all week, so they've been playing on it for quite a few games. I expect her to be pretty close here.
Well, it's making a break there. Looking pretty good here, though.
Just want to keep an angle on this. Great shot.
Great shot, especially in the first end when you're guessing a bit. Pretty much takes away any double opportunity for the Swiss. And I don't think you can get underneath with a hit and roll there. It looks like it's edge on edge. And I don't know if you want to play that weight that you got to paper that guard.
To me, I would be playing the one that Anna just threw here. I'd be nosing the red that's just half frozen on the yellow. It could potentially open up a double on your next one. By hitting the one that's just slightly tucked, it doesn't really, is never going to allow you to be able to remove that red one unless you have a complete miss. So she heard me.
Yeah. Coach Fry at it again. The other thing I guess you could do is if you threw peel and hit about 2/3 of that red that's in the 4-foot and smash into the other one and kind of separate. Yeah. To kind of cluster those stones wouldn't be a bad one either. But so Alina taking the intern hitter, probably throwing about firm weight. Trying to nose this one or even roll in a bit. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, great shot. Now you're hoping for a little bit of a half mistake here. I know his hit might allow a double, I think.
Yeah, I think Anna's going to try to hit and roll away. Interesting, Anna's taking the other turn here. She's taking the out turn, which from what I've been seeing all week, the inside out has been running a little bit straighter. So you can tell that with that ice, it's pretty tight ice, and we'll see how this one runs in the first end. Oh, thanks, boss.
I've been coming to this event for quite some time, Johnny. These crowds are pretty lively.
Yeah, this is the best crowd I've ever seen here in Toronto for our Players' Championship. It's great to see. Interesting. So, nose hit there. We'll see. This is, I'd say, not all the women in the game can make this double. This is definitely a pretty flat double. So it looks like Alina's taking the out turn. She'll probably throw a little bit of extra rotation, which gets a bit more jam on that shooter. But this will have to have some weight to it. So we'll see how hard she can throw it here.
Yeah, Alina takes pride in being able to throw that sub 6.5 second peel weight, which is, like you said, Johnny, it's not everyone, but every year now in the women's game, you're seeing the strength from the amount of training that they're doing really start paying off.
Yeah.
This looks like it just cleaned. No.
It got on that a little early and it caught that straighter spot.
That'll be an open draw for Anna Hasselborg for 2 points in the first end.
Yeah, this end really turned around. It was, the Swiss were putting the pressure on early, but a couple misses by Silvana really turned this around. They're looking at the split here, actually, which I don't think is a terrible idea. It's not an easy split by any means, but...
little and even harder with this turn.
Yeah, I thought you'd take the intern at this. I'm with you. But, yeah, it's worth the gamble, especially against Tirinzoni. 3 points compared to 2 is a big difference early in an 8-end game. Want to hit about 1/3 of this stone with back 8-foot weight, I bet is what they're going to be.
It looks extremely difficult. You might even have to hit more of that. You might even have to hit a bit of a thick half and just roll both on. That's The problem with this shot is you want to always make sure that you secure your 2 points in this. Sometimes trying for 3 a little bit too hard takes away the chance for 2, but
definitely some risk reward here. We've seen this run a little bit straighter here, so you definitely don't want to be throwing through the house weight, which looks like she's close to throwing. This is that spot. I've seen this a lot this week where coming inside out, it's straighter and quicker, and that's unfortunate for the team Hasselborg. They had a guaranteed 2, and they went for a little riskier shot for 3, and now got away with just a 1-0 lead.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock.
To the hack right after one of my misses.
So start at N2. Swiss get the hammer back. I'm John Morris with Ryan Fry. We're going to be your host for tonight's game between Anna Hasselborg and Alina Pats. Silvana Tirinzoni combo. Nice break for the Swiss in the first end. Now they get the hammer and see what they can do to come back. So a nice center guard put up by the Anna Hasselborg foursome with their first one. Nice tight center. And the Swiss are going with a different strategy than the Swedes did in the first, and they're going with the corner guard. So they're obviously trying to put a bit more heat on Sweden and get a little bit more aggressive.
To hospitals and Grand Slam host cities to purchase life-saving equipment for babies born too soon, too small, or too sick, or too far. This season, the foundation is once again providing $20,000 grants to hospitals in each slam host community. Today, Sick Kids Foundation is receiving funding to purchase 2 infant scales for the NICU. Joining us at ice level to present this check are Sandra Schroeder.
A little bit late on this one, and it clips that front center.
And Jill Hopkins to present a check for $20,000 to the Sick Kids
Gives them a chance to hit coming back here.
Fans, you can show your support for the Sandra Schroeder Foundation tonight by participating in our crowd sweep during this game at the 4th end break, or by making a donation online at sandraschroeder.org. Thank you.
So Selena trying to come around her corner guard that she threw with her first. Looking pretty close here. Top 8 foot I think would be ideal. Maybe bite that 4. Good start for the Swiss to this end. I would say advantage Switzerland early, but we saw that last end and sure turned around in a hurry.
So Agnes will be attempting a freeze here. Put this rock on the corner of the yellow that Tirinzoni just placed.
This has caught some curl. Gone. Kind of not a bad result though, eh? Maybe even better than the first call, because
the old plan B.
Yeah, where that shooter rolled to, I think, is actually pretty nice for Sweden here. We'll see what Savannah's going to do coming back.
I don't see much good coming from hitting that center guard, Johnny. You?
No,
I think if you're going to play the run back, you have to play the left-hand side one that's just off the center line.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do here, and ideally you roll right back in front of your one in the 8-foot. Kind of kill two, as the trailer park boys would say, get two birds stoned at once. So a big run back here for Carroll, trying to hit about 3/4 of this low side. She might get. Oh, I actually, you know what I was going to say, Fry? I'm like, if she tickles that first one, it could be the best result.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that my Swiss isn't very good these days. I'm not sure what they were planning that, but I'm sure they'll take it.
Yeah, I think my Swiss German's pretty good, and I think Colin was basically called the audible there in the hack.
Okay.
No, trading plan Bs, but not an overly difficult run back here for Agnes.
Interesting, they're taking the inside out here, eh?
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah, they're stung again on that inside out.
There does seem to be a lot more teams using that, even with coaching the Italian men's team. The Italian men's team tends to go to the inside out.
Really?
And it's quite different from you and I competing, because for the majority we always played in outside in. It was I don't know if it was just something that got ingrained in us, but the teams now are definitely moving more towards the inside in. I'm not sure what the reason is behind that. Maybe it's belief with the directional sweeping that they can control the rock slightly more. You'd think I would know, but when they don't want me to know something, they speak in Italian.
So they're trying to lie to here. It's pretty important where they put this rock. They don't want to be too deep with it, which will give them a double back. And they actually came up a little bit light. We'll have to see from the other angle if they have this double back. Looks like it's a little bit too much buried.
It looks difficult. Definitely looks difficult. So we got the Grand Slam of karaoke tonight, Johnny. Are you going to be in attendance for that?
Well, I don't like to miss too many good karaoke nights, Fry. And it's sold out, I think, and it's been such a great crowd here. That's been one of the highlights of the slams for me, is Saturday night getting to watch these curlers really let loose and have fun. And that's one of the new things we've added this year with the Grand Slams, and pretty cool to see all the...
Make curling fun again.
Yeah, and there's lots of talent with these guys, this singing voice. So.
Here's Sarah attempting the very difficult double and catches that same curl. I think they're getting just a little bit confused on those 4-foot paths, Johnny. Usually in the first part of the game, it's a little bit less worn down because it's not in practice the paths that you're going on. So you can usually catch a little bit more curl, and I think that's what we're catching here a little bit with both of these teams.
You're definitely seeing a bit of maybe some fresh pebble being caught. Well, it looks like they're going to try to come around their wide corner. Is that what I'm seeing? Wide corner on the right there, just to lie 3.
Yeah, I'm not. Or the split. I'm not quite sure, because where they put the broom down, that was very similar to where that rock, how that rock got there. So.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing 6 feet of curl, 5.5 feet of curl here, but
especially away from center, right?
And the other thing is what they're playing.
The other thing that's a little tricky is that redstone is 3/4 in that house, so it kind of cuts down your rings a little bit.
They might be playing.
No, I think they're playing the come around. It's just running straight on them again. Starting to go now. Starting to go now, but I wouldn't say an ideal location.
No. Sometimes that's the most confusing part of when an end's going so good in your way. You're looking a little too good too early was one of the sayings that we used to use. It's
too good. That's the curse. The curse of the too good too early, and that's hard to maintain a 3, let alone a deuce for for 4 shots in today's game. So Sarah's coming down to get it. I like what she's doing here. Sometimes you get a little bit of a different angle when you come down and actually see them up close than when you're in the hack. So I like Sarah coming down there and really getting an idea of where she wants to hit these turns.
I was a big believer in these, Johnny, that when you have a double or that you're going to make 95% of the time, it's sometimes best to just take that double and then let your opponent you know, kind of go and make their next shot, and hopefully it sets up again. But at the worst case scenario here, you'd be sitting with giving up 2 points, which, you know, in the second end, it's not ideal. You lose control, but at the same point, you don't put yourself so far in a deficit that it makes it more difficult to come back.
So what you're saying is they're probably going to take this easy. They're taking this easy double there on the left side.
Yeah, and I agree with it.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like this is a bit of the easy way out. I think
they don't like it out of her hand. Little wide with that one.
Enough? Ooh. I guess it wasn't that easy.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that call. I actually would have called the off the one on the 8 foot with a, you know, peel weight and kill a far, you know, the far one that it would double jam into, and it would keep that cluster over there. So then,
yeah, also would have been a great call.
But we'll see.
Backline, close.
Okay, so now they're going to be splitting this one back. It's still a bit of a tricky situation for the Swiss. They can't really draw anywhere that won't leave them a double and keep them third shot. So they're trying to split on this one on the button. I think ideally, if you could tap this to a freeze on that back red, would be pretty nifty. Close. Close. Actually, a pretty darn good result.
Yeah, very good shot.
No obvious. Well, there's the top double there, but it's a little risky because that red one's in play. So I would say that's a mission accomplished by the Swiss with that split.
So we have a legend in the house tonight too that might pop in. We'll see. If the fans remember, Bompy Christopher Svei from Team Olsrud's team is in the building. Just decided to make a trip out to Canada.
Yeah, I love it. I think he was missing curling. He hadn't been playing in a few years, and came out to watch the slam, see some old friends, and hopefully we can get him in here for a few ends. Maybe he can help us understand all this Swedish talk, what it actually means.
All Europeans don't speak the same language, Johnny.
Hey, he's heard it a lot more than we have, though, so I like his chances. Well, big double here for Anna.
Great shot. So that will give Anna an opportunity to for sure get out of this with only giving up 2, but with a half error, it also gives her a chance to maybe force this end.
And there you saw it again, inside out. They sure like that inside out, and she threw that one perfect. Disrupted a little bit on the way down, and definitely one of her strengths is that out turn, big weight hit.
Yeah, between Rachel Homan, Alina Petz, and Anna Hasselborg, they're 3 of the best when it comes to the high weight takeout in the women's game.
They're working this. Looks like
a nose hit.
They're hopping. Ooh, did it dead jam? No, I was about to say, if it dead jams, it might not be second shot. It isn't. So that was an unfortunate break there for the Swiss. Kind of lets Sweden off the hook here because of that jam.
Yeah, and this will test your nerve, because you have the correct shot to guarantee yourself a force is to draw here, but leaving 2 opposition stones in the rings can create the opportunity for 3 if there's a slight miss. So a lot of teams will hit this on the nose and then leave the double. I'm a fan of the draw here, Johnny. You?
Oh, I think they're both good shots, but obviously the draw is a bit more of an aggressive shot, which guarantees a force. So I think if you're really feeling it, then you throw the draw, which is not really, I think, if I'm predicting what the Swedes are going to do here, I bet they'll be hit. So yeah, looks like she's trying to nose hit here. And then if she's able to do that, it'll leave Alina Pats with the decision to throw a double for a deuce or draw for 1. Anna taking the weight down off this one, trying to really make sure she stays around. Hanging out here, it's catching that. Oh, absolute disaster.
Just some unforced errors. I really.
That's that same spot.
Inside out again.
Inside out, and you're seeing those more often than not run straight. And it looks like they got caught again. So with that result, they were second shot, or they were going to be 1-2 after that, but they actually took their own out of the 8-foot. So that leaves Silvana and Alina a free draw for 2 to go up 2-1 in this ball game.
Yeah, they seem to be getting a little bit caught by the ice here, Johnny. There's been a few uncharacteristic misses in the first 2 ends here, but yeah, with a good shot here, this will give Alina and Team Tirinzoni a 1-point lead, scoring in the even ends, which is a pretty good advantage going into 3.
They're scrubbing it early, but not looking too panicked here.
Just clean, clean.
Selena and Carol on the sweep, and it's right on
the 4-foot.
The back 4-foot for the Bees. 2-1. Team Tirinzoni will now lead Team Hasselborg after 2. See you back here in a few.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all 3.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
Welcome back to the 3rd end of Hasselborg versus Tirinzoni. A big 2 points for Team Tirinzoni there in the 2nd end. Going into the 3rd end, Anna will be looking to try to rebound here with a multiple score of her own. Call was a tight center guard for Team Tirinzoni.
The shot made, but it just, you want to bite that center line. It always. What's good about it is that when you bite that center line, even though the other team won't be playing the tick, they also can't move you off that center, so they got to be a little bit more careful with their draw. Looks like Hasselborg will be switching their strategy a little bit up this end compared to the first end. They're going with the corner guard rather than the come around, try to get a bit more potential for a deuce coming back.
Yeah, the curl to the wings on even draws here, Johnny, looks a little bit less than normal. Might be catching the teams a little bit.
Yeah, that's why when you said that, most teams are playing inside out a bit more now. I think that's not a bad play, but sometimes you got to read your ice conditions. And when your ice is straighter to the wing, I never like, that makes the degree of difficulty more in my opinion. Rather than when it's consistent ice all around. So I feel like sometimes you got to change up the tactics just a little bit and really take what the ice is giving you kind of thing, Fry?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's definitely coming off that, it's almost coming off a hill a little bit coming out on those draws. The weight's coming off and it looks like it's really, really curling, and it's caught up a few of the players early in this game with those come rounds just not being made around those center guards.
Yeah, this ice is definitely, it's very good ice. It's just, there's definitely some tricky spots in it, which is, to say, is something that I actually think is important in curling. It's this similar to, being able to read greens and yeah. So here we have Sophia playing a draw around that corner guard.
I think she made it pretty buried.
Successfully.
No, let's get him in here now.
Yeah, sure.
We got a great friend of ours and an old curling rival. I want to introduce our next guest here.
Yeah, nicknamed Bompy, one of the happiest, best guys in curling, has stopped in to Toronto today for this event, and he's sitting right behind me. So I'm gonna pass him the mic here and let him jump on and entertain you.
Yeah, Bumpy, I just flew right in from Norway yesterday. Bumpy, is that the case?
I did.
Yeah.
Came in like midnight last night.
All right, well, welcome to the Slam, pal. Good to have you on.
Yeah, nice to be here. It's been 5 years since I went to a big curling event.
Really?
Yeah. So I see nothing's really changed.
Well, we got, they're making more shots.
They are.
And and now we have karaoke every Saturday night.
That's a good improvement.
So, we got to get some more, entertainment back in the game.
Exactly.
Which I think we can all agree on is important. So
yeah, it's more karaoke probably back in the days, not just on the Saturday nights.
Yeah, I think it was more impromptu though. It was one of those like, hey, what are we doing after the game? Oh, there's a karaoke bar on Friday nights in Yorkton. Let's go check it out. Now it's actually organized, but yeah, it's pretty good time, I'll tell you. You'll witness it for the first time tonight. We might even get you on stage if we can.
Yeah, maybe. I've seen some videos. Looks good.
Yeah.
And I heard that John Wall, this is his last event, and his favorite song is "I Want It That Way" by Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
So maybe we'll have to do a tribute.
Oh, that'd be a crowd pleaser. You might get a lot of the 40 and 50-year-olds up there dancing to that one.
Yeah. Is the song that old? It is probably.
I think that was about 20 years, late teens when that came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 20 years old.
Mid-90s.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a good game going on here. We got Tirinzoni came back with a deuce. She's up 2-1 now, and you probably know these teams pretty well. Yeah, I know they were kind of young and up and coming when you were in your prime, but now they're in their prime, and we're kind of washed up old curlers now. We get to assess how good they are now. So
yeah, definitely not up and coming anymore.
No.
But yeah, I had the pleasure of playing Continental Cup with these teams and also coaching them at Continental Cup after I retired. So I know them quite well, and especially the Swedish team. So
maybe can you help us with some? I've been trying to decipher what they're saying in Swedish and Swiss. Can you help with that a little bit? Do you have any knowledge of that, with some of that derived from the Norwegian language too, or what?
Yeah, so obviously Swedish is very similar to Norwegian. It's like basically just a different accent.
Okay.
Kind of like English to or Canadian to Scottish, although the Scottish are sometimes very hard to understand.
Especially when they've been drinking scotch.
Yeah. But Swiss, that's harder, but it's still like Swiss German is. There's definitely some similar words to Norwegian words.
Okay.
So I can pick up on some things.
Good. If we get confused here, we'll lean on Bumpy to translate for us.
Yeah. So that Anna had a tough split for 3 in the first.
Yeah, I don't think she's been happy with her last rocks, the first 2 ends. She had a split for 3. She threw quite heavy, and then she had a hit to lie 2 last end, and she took her own out with the second one. So.
Right. So curl means curl in Swiss German.
All right, curling 101, lessons with Bumpy. I like that. Yeah, what we're finding is it's running a little straighter to the wing.
Yep.
A lot of the misses we've been seeing are on the straight side, going away from center and over curling and a little bit light coming to center. So.
Yep.
So what are you doing now in Norway? I think I heard you're maybe running a curling club or doing still involved in the game?
Yeah, it's our curling club is selling a lot of corporate events through a year, so I'm head instructor and doing like teaching curling full time every day, but just beginners curling basically, mostly.
Okay.
So to be honest, it's just a whole lot of smiling and lying, telling people how great they are at curling. But yeah, so definitely I'm sliding at least once every day, 2 or 3 times maybe.
Just to show people how it's done, eh?
Yeah, showing them a few strokes of sweeping and explaining the rules. Like Norwegians are not that knowledgeable about curling, so you have to explain the rules every time. And
okay.
And, same, like I commentated a little bit during the Olympics last time and for Norwegian TV. And it's the same, we have to explain the rules like every half hour.
Yeah, to make sure everyone's understanding what's going on, eh?
Yeah.
So where is that out of? Like what curling club are you?
So that's our main club in just outside of Oslo, in Norway. 6-sheeter. So that's our main facility.
Is that where we played the Oslo Cup?
Correct.
Oh, what a great club that is!
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was the one time Team Martin lost to Team Olsrud.
I remember that event because there was a leak in the roof.
Yeah.
And
there was a guy holding a bucket up while they were sliding underneath, right?
It was right in the middle of our sheet, and there was a bucket that was catching the water. And every time we throw through that piece of ice, the guy would come and move the bucket, and then put it back, and yeah, that was pretty cool.
See, we had to do all the tricks, didn't you guys?
Yeah, you snared us there.
Yeah, it's not a leak in the roof anymore. At least.
Oh, it's been fixed.
Improved on that.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sweden made a decent freeze there, but I think it's able to get removed if Silvana plays maybe firm weight here, hit about 3/4 of that, and stick around.
Looks like it's some room there between that and the next rock, so should be easily to squeeze that out. Looks like the rocks are quite bouncy here as well as they were at the Worlds. So.
Yeah, they're nice and lively. She's only throwing about easy normal here, so. Is it out? Ooh, just out.
Yeah.
Big difference if that stays in, because there's definitely a double back here. So for those of you that don't know who Christopher Svaa is, or Pumpy, he is pretty much the man responsible for the crazy Norwegian curling pants that introduced curling to the world at the 2010 Olympics. And I think that even though we won the Olympics that year, you guys became more popular because of those pants. And still one of the reasons I think a lot of people tuned into curling and kind of, so yeah, that was pretty cool. Can you tell us about how that started?
Yeah, at least in Norway, everyone thinks that we won because of the attention it got. So I'm not denying it whenever someone
Good.
says something.
Yeah, take credit. I like it.
Yeah, no, that was quite the experience. It was, to make a super long story a little bit shorter, it was just a matter of our federation giving us our kit for the Olympics, and it was basically all black and gray. And
AKA boring.
Boring, very boring. And like I wanted to play in some Norwegian colors, as well as the rest of the team, and then we were trying to find some colorful pants, and we ended up with those ones that were red, white, and blue diamonds. And obviously, golf probably broke that tradition some years before that, with introducing more colors to the sport. But being a traditional sport like golf used to be, it's kind of breaking a tradition there, coming out with colorfulness. So if we had wore those pants for instance, snowboarding or something, it wouldn't have really made any difference.
No, sure did in curling though.
Yeah, come out there with those, and they kind of brightened up the ice quite a lot. So I think that was mainly it that gave it so much attention, breaking a tradition and showing that curling could also be colorful. So
fun.
Yeah,
showed the fun part. I'm sure glad you guys did that. It was great to see. That was, well, first of all, you guys were all awesome guys on the team and fun-loving, great guys. And then to have those pants and to get the attention that curling got after that was sure pretty cool. So
yeah, it definitely gave us a boost at the Olympics, and the whole Olympic curling that the Olympics gave that a boost as well. So
you betcha.
I'm sure it even gave your team a little bit of more attention.
Yeah, it was. The only thing that was tough was sometimes when I was throwing, and in my peripheral, all I see is these pants. These bright pants sometimes was a little distracting, but no, it was great. It was definitely what our game needed, was to liven it up a bit, and I think it got a lot of attention even from some younger demographic and some younger people, and now probably help get curling to where it is now, which is a pretty darn popular sport around the world. So thank you for that.
That's it's nice to see. There's definitely a whole lot of teams that are contributing now with finding new ways with social media and everything to try and broaden the attention for curling.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, eh?
Yep.
So Lena she was trying to make the hit and roll there, but she ended up with the nose. Still in a pretty good position, because that's a pretty darn tough double. If she's going to take that on, she's probably going to try something more like a hit and roll, eh? What do you think?
Yeah, I keep getting surprised though watching the broadcast and watching curling. How it's back in the days we would have drawn for one hair probably, or maybe hit for one. But I'm not surprised if they play that soft double.
Yeah, definitely a lot more risk being taken in the game.
Yeah.
And I think with the way that what sweeping is under the game, you can control that stone a lot more than you used to be able to.
Yeah. It was a couple of years there where you can remote control the rock with the forbidden brooms, but
yeah,
it seems like a little bit of that is coming back maybe.
Yeah, I have to say it's I always think there should be more onus on the throw than the sweep, but
yeah.
So she's trying to hit for one, but it's hanging out. A good brush here by Fia.
Yep.
And 2-2 after 2. We got a tight one here on sheet D at the Players' Championship in Toronto. We'll be back in a few.
Let me say what's best for me, to feel at ease, to feel happy. Lovely weather with the breeze, the simplest things. Sad love.
Rio Mare. Great taste needs little. Prime quality tuna and selected olive oil. Rio Mare, the real taste of Italy.
Funding to help sick kids purchase life-saving NICU equipment for babies. This funding is made possible thanks to the generous support of the grassroots curling community and fans like you. Right now, local volunteers, including those from TMU and the University of Toronto curling teams, are passing donation buckets as part of our Grand Slam crowd sweep. You can also donate online at sandraschmerler.org. Your contributions will help babies here in the GTA and all across Canada who are born too soon, too small, too sick, or too far. We thank you for your support.
Closest warm place.
All right, we're back here, fourth end. We got a tight battle between Anna Hasselborg from Sweden and Silvana Tirinzoni from Switzerland. 2-2 after 3. And the Swiss have the hammer. They're going back to their corner guards. Keeping the strategy pretty aggressive, which we've been seeing most of the week and the year from these guys. I just found out our friend Bumpy is here. I'm your host, Johnny Moe, tonight. And we got a special guest all the way from Norway, Christopher Sva, a.k.a. Bumpy. A good friend and an old rival in the game. We had many battles on the ice. And yeah, I just found out you got a couple days in Toronto and then you're heading to Bermuda. I'm kind of jealous. I've never been there before.
Yeah, that's just one of those things. I was looking at the map, basically, saying, okay, I want to go and watch a couple of days of Slam because it's been a while. And then going all the way from Norway, it doesn't make sense to come for just 2 days. So, but because of work, I had to come late and just now for the playoffs weekend. But so I was looking at the map and I was saying, okay, the closest warm place, where could that be? Bermuda is pretty close. It's like 2.5 hour flight. So, and the flights were good and pretty cheap. So that's it.
That's it. It's only 2.5 hours from here. Yeah. Awesome. And you're going there for a week?
Just 3 days. A little bit of rest before going home for work. Yeah.
Okay. So Anna Hasselborg here, I would say the momentum is swayed a little bit into the Swiss favor. They've wrestled the hammer back already from Team Hasselborg, and as a result, Team Hasselborg's kind of trying to tighten the screws a little bit on the Swiss. They're going with 2 center guard strategy, and the Swiss with a nice come around there. And the game's on. Now we're going to have some action here this end, I think.
Definitely.
Lots of rocks in play, it looks like we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, the 2 center offense, like 10, 15 years ago, you only did that if you had to steal in the last end, right?
What do you think of the no-tick rule when the rocks are on the center line?
It seems to be working quite well, I think. They might even have to expand that to no-tick anywhere, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they're getting so good at everything else. Also, a buddy of mine suggested that maybe you adapt a mixed double rule where you can't hit inside in the house as well for the first 4 rocks.
Yeah, there used to be a Moncton rule, they called it, and it was the Russ Howard rule where you couldn't hit, I think it was the first 4 or 5 rocks. You couldn't hit at all. You could only tap back. And so yeah, I don't mind that. Kind of bring a bit more finesse into the game, eh?
Yeah, it would be nice to try it at least. And Slam seems to be the arena to test everything out.
Yeah.
Also, I played this charity event a couple of weeks back in Schuster's hometown, Duluth, Minnesota. The House of Hearts. And
they're still doing that.
They're still doing that. They just forgot to invite you the last few years, John.
Wow, yeah. I did get the invite the last year or two, but I think there was about 10 years there that I was on the can't travel the U.S. list.
Okay.
But it's still a good time there, isn't it?
Very good. And always a good caliber of celebrity skips that comes in.
Yeah.
Different curlers from all over the world. But they had this rule this year that covering the pin would mean 2 points.
Oh, I like that.
That could be a fun thing to try as well.
We've thought about that here.
Yeah.
And I actually really like that because then it really changes the strategy, but it also, if you do have a blank attempt,
you don't blank, you try to draw
for the deuce, right?
That's what happened. It was quite fun to try.
Yeah, you might see that here next year.
Yeah.
We definitely like trying new things at the slams and keep it light, and also, some things we try, they don't turn out, and other things do. So
yeah, definitely. But that's the only way to find out.
Yeah, try it out. Give her a go. A bad miss by the Swiss second there. I think she was trying to the freeze, and it really overcurled and was light. So I would say the advantage is really in the Swedes' favor right now. They got a bunch of junk up front, 2 buried, even though they're not shot rock. I don't think they're too concerned because there's definitely ways to get at that, whether it's in off that yellow or tapping a few more back. So starting to get a little scary for the Swiss here. They're probably going to want to try to get another angle in there or start peeling some of those guards.
Yeah, definitely that overlap on the center guard. It's advantage Sweden right now.
So your old teammate, Harvard, was coaching at the World, right? Who's he coaching?
He's coach for Team Schwaller, Yannick Schwaller. But he can't be away from his day job that much. So being away 2 weeks or almost 3 with pre-camp and everything for the Worlds, he had to step away from this one. So
couldn't be here, eh?
No, but they brought Glenn Howard on board this year as well. So he joined for the Worlds, and he's here. I saw. Coaching this weekend.
That's a pretty good team.
Yeah, he's a
Havard and Cliffy.
Yeah,
it's a good coaching staff. Yeah, I think that the Swiss needed to finish well at the World to qualify for the Olympics, and I think they were able to do that with their great results. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Norway also qualified for men's, actually making the playoffs. So that's good for Norwegian curling. It's
Norway's in the Olympics again. Good.
Yeah. So the women's will have to go through the last chance Olympic qualifier in December.
Yeah.
And Norway women hasn't been at the Olympics for quite some time, 2006.
Since the old Doherty days?
Exactly.
Doherty Nordby.
Yeah.
I think she has the most ever appearances at a world championship, I bet. She was there. From my age, I was about 2 years old to about 32. I think she was at the...
Something like that. She had this card, so she could just like stamp it every day if she wanted to go.
Yeah, she was one of Norway's finest. This is a big shot here for Sarah. She's trying to come in off this and play the in off and make some noise on the ones in the forefoot as well. So
yeah, just making contact in the center there will help.
Needs about half a stone here. It's looking close.
A little thick. Good trick.
Pretty good result.
Yeah.
Now it's pretty scary for the Swiss. They've got themselves in a bit of trouble here from some early misses in this end, and now they're going to try to bail out here with Silvana. So how's the state of curling in Norway? I know you have that Ramsfjell team, but is there anyone else? What are your thoughts on them? And is there any other good young curling men's teams coming out of Norway?
Well, we got Team Ransfjell, Magnus Ransfjell being the son of Eigil Ransfjell, world champion in the 80s. So he's got it in his blood and has a curling brain, and has been grown up with curling around the kitchen table and everything. So
yeah,
so he knows it, and that team will only improve over the next few years, I would think. Then there's a slightly younger team, and that became world junior champions last year. So they're away in Cortina now, playing the World Juniors again and trying to defend their title.
Okay.
So and they actually won the men's national championship this year, beating Magnus Ransfjell in the final.
But they still chose Magnus.
They did, because that's how our system works. It's just the Olympic Federation in Norway and Sweden, for that matter, very they don't want it to be decided on just one result. It has to be a steady flow of results through a season. So it's a matter of ranking points, and yeah, that's how they select the team.
So do you think that junior team was disappointed that they didn't get selected, or do you think they kind of understood it before they were going in?
Yeah, they knew coming in, and
okay,
it's been like that for quite some time. It was a few years there where Paul Trolson was the definitive the best team, and then Thomas Olsrud team was kind of knocking on the door, and then Paul Trolson retired, and then it was Thomas Olsrud's turn, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of the way it goes. But the good thing about it is that the team coming from behind, they get a lot of practice of beating the best teams, and then once they get selected, they're good enough to get results.
They've put in their time and they're ready, eh?
Yeah. Seen a little bit of that in Scotland now as well. Ross White knocking on the door, winning the championship. But Mowat being Mowat, they keep winning, so it's hard for the Scottish curling not to select them.
Yeah, that's a tough argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and also, but curling it's not growing in Norway. Unfortunately, it's very few that are playing in the greater Oslo area. We don't really have any juniors at the moment. So we're trying to do a school project and learn to curls and try and grow it that way, and trying to get the children of former curling players interested, because that seems to be the way to go, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think getting into the school system is important.
Yeah.
Teaching them early that it's a fun game. Ooh. Just a little miss there from Savannah. So the Swedes are still looking good here for the steal.
Yeah.
But they got to protect this yellow one, because that's the one that they can remove that shot rock with. So unfortunately, they can't get really too much more aggressive. Maybe on Anna's last one, she can try to come around and be shot rock on the tee line there. But I think this is the right call to guard this for now and see if they'll try to chase or if they might try another run back.
Yeah. Only problem for Sweden here now is that their shot is not that good. So it could be a fairly easy draw for 1 point for Switzerland here.
Yeah, on either side too. Yeah. They kind of have both sides at them.
No, but back to that, John. It's I'm hearing from all over the world that it's hard to get the young ones interested, and like their attention span is so short, right? Because of social media and TikToks and all that, they're just interested in 20, 30 seconds entertainment.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad. I don't think that's necessarily that healthy, but it seems like that's the way the world's going now, and that's part of our social media campaign is like we got to cater to the young demographic too. So
exactly.
There you go.
Well, it seems like the curling group and the Grand Slams are doing a lot of work to try and get people more interested. And
yeah, we got. Well, have you seen the banana?
I have.
Peels here this week.
Yeah.
So that's been cool. They've actually grown in size. We have, I think it started with about 4 of them, and now we got about 12 of them here. And even a few kids were watching them on TV, and they came with their own banana outfits to join. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, probably more stuff like that.
Okay. Our commentators did dress up. That's right. So it's catching on and doing fun things like that to kind of help. That's a good, pretty good shot. I think yellow shot here now opens it up so that they should still have at least a draw for one. Anna's going to try to make this double and roll buried to lie about 3.
Put the pressure on.
Put the heat on, you betcha. Yeah, we're trying to make it a bit more fun and engage the youth, and I think that it's important. It's vital to do that. So
yeah, it is.
We got to get. I remember growing up and being able to. Well, one of the main reasons I tried curling was because of my dad. But it sure would have been nice being able to try it in curling, even if it's just the rocks and rings or the non-ice version.
Yeah. Yeah, we find it that the kids in the neighborhood of our curling club, like they love it when they come with their class with school, but they don't want to come after school.
Yeah.
After school, they want to play video games and hang out at the mall.
Yeah, that's a hard habit to break, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm guessing here in Canada, it's hockey is probably still the most famous in sport amongst everyone, right?
Yeah, hockey's definitely the national sport. and the most popular, which it's a great sport. You know, it's a lot of fun. Yep. Oh, they might have overcooked this a little bit. Oh, good shot though. They're line 3 or line 2. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
A force at the very least, but still have a chance for a steal here at 1 or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. Like, it should be pretty easy. Put it full forefoot. You saw was it the Japanese team that threw it through against Holman this morning?
Yeah, it doesn't look like being able to pinpoint that draw is necessarily easy out there right now. I've seen, you know, almost, you know, 25-30% of the draws not go where they want to go. So, but Alina is one of the best in the game, and she's got an in-turn draw here against 2. Pivotal point of this game to maintain control on an even end. Sweepers seem pretty happy with it. They're on and off, which is a good sign for Switzerland.
In the ballpark.
There you go. Alina Pats does it again. Bails her team out with a nice draw, a nice run back, and then a nice draw. We got 3-2 after 4 ends. Tirinzoni over Hasselborg.
Rio Mare. Great taste needs little. Prime quality tuna and selected olive oil. Rio Mare, the real taste of Italy.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
All right, we're back for the latter half of Team Hasselborg versus Team Tirinzoni, a 3-2 battle in favor of the Swiss right now.
Looks like Alina is sweeping by herself now.
Yeah, they lost the sweeper here.
Lost the sweeper.
Hopefully not for the rest of the game.
Typical fourth and break type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's usually when you visit the washroom if you need to. So
it's a funny story from the 2002 Olympics when Paul Trolson won gold.
Okay.
So our head of the Olympic Committee is standing outside having a smoke. And then Paul Trolson comes out, and then the head of the Olympic Committee says, "Paul, what are you doing? You're playing the Olympic final." He's like, "That's okay. I play last."
So that was in the middle of the game?
Middle of the game. Having a smoke.
Having a dart, eh?
Yeah.
Taking the nerves off. Well, sometimes you need to do that.
Yeah.
Ease the tension a little bit. We'll give you an update around the rings here. We got, in case you haven't tuned in to the other streaming options, we have on Sheet A, Team Mowat is taking on Team Jacobs. They're up 3-1 with the hammer, so they're in pretty good control of that game. On Sheet B, we have Yannick Schwaller against Maddie Dunstone. And Maddie Dunstone with a 3-2 lead. A couple blanks the last few ends in that one. And Yannick Schwaller has the hammer going into 5. And Rachel Holman versus Eunji Kim. Is that right? Eunji Kim. Kim from Korea, let's just say that. And it's a 3-1 lead for the host nation. And the crowd favorite for Rachel Holman right now. And she actually has the hammer as well. So she's in good control of that one. And here on our own sheet, 3-2 for Tirinzoni. Sweden has the hammer, so definitely lots of curling and lots of potential momentum swings in this one coming up. Tough start for the Swedes here again. They seem to be, I'm not sure if they got a tough rock there or they've just been a little light on a few of the draws early in these ends. So Swiss in a good position to put some early heat on in this 5th end.
Yeah, obviously these two teams play each other a lot over the year. With, both on the European Tour, the World Tour, the Slams, European Championship, World Championship.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see what that record is between these two. I would guess in the last few years, Tirinzoni would have the edge, but maybe in the early years it would have been Hasselborg, eh?
Yeah.
But still, in a high-pressure event, it's almost a coin flip between these two. And when they're both playing great curling, it's sure can be a battle.
Yes.
Which is what we're seeing tonight.
Obviously, Team Hasselborg has had a few of the members of the team being mommies over the last couple of years and had to step away a little bit to take care of that.
Yeah, they
seem working their way up again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they're back in some pretty good form here now, and obviously that's something that I got a lot of respect for, being able to have kids and take a little bit of a break from the game and then come back and be just as good as you were before. So we're lucky as men, we don't have to deal with that as much, eh, Bumpy?
Not as much, no.
Yeah, we can just come back and support the home front rather than. But yeah, they've been playing great this year. I know they had a tough Worlds, but I definitely nice seeing them bounce back into that form they used to have a few years ago.
Yeah.
And Tirinzoni, geez, they've been at the top of their game, I'd say, for the last 5 or 6 years. Alina Pats has gone all world.
Yeah.
And how well she's been playing, and I think when they finally figured out their lineup of having Silvana call the game, throw third, that seemed to really be the catalyst for allowing them to perform real well. So
yeah, changed their front end a little bit over the last few years, but seem to be on the winning recipe again.
It's like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Yeah.
And he's got that song, "It Doesn't Matter." That's what Silvana and Alina think of when they have to make a front end change. They say, "It doesn't matter who's our front end. We're still going to win."
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
And nice for Carol Howald, who was the 5th or like 3 or 4 different Swiss teams that got a gold at the World Championship.
Really?
Yeah. And then she got to be on the team eventually and win her own gold as a player.
Yeah, and I think that she's developed a pretty good friendship with Lena, for sure. I know that she's one of the nicest, bubbliest, friendliest gals in the game. So nice to see when good people are successful, and she's sure one of them.
Definitely.
So the Swedes have a bit of a sneaky rock in that 12 that's fully buried. So Swiss have to be a little careful here with this guard. They want to make sure that it's perfectly guarding this stone in the forefoot so that they don't have a hit to lie to. So I would say a pretty pressured guard here for Silvana.
Yeah, need to guard that perfectly.
It's a little higher than they wanted today. They might be able to reach us with this intern. Yeah, that's one of those shots where it's probably scored a 4 out of 4, but I would say that's more of a 2 or 3 out of 4 because of what you've left the opposition with. So
yeah,
Sarah's going to try to chase this intern, rock on the forefoot, tap it just out or into the back rings to lie to.
I mean, on straight ice, that guard would have been good, right? But here it's curling a lot, so it's like the guard is not even there, really. Well, it was there.
Yeah. Well, we've seen this quite a bit in this game where there's been a lot more crashes than. I think we probably had at least 10 rocks being crashed on already in the first 4 ends, for 5 ends here now. So Silvana has another chance to sew this up. Probably wants to be about 4 or 5 feet tighter than that last one, right on that AMJ, middle of that AMJ logo would be perfect. I guess there's been a timeout called here by.
I wasn't sure it was like a technical timeout or a normal timeout. It seems like a normal.
Yeah, the only reason I was able to see is the backboard.
Yeah,
their coach Pierre Charette.
Yeah.
I think they're considering chasing this out turn. Or splitting the rings, we'll see. I don't know. I think the guard is still to play though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
you make a good one.
Do it one more at least.
Yeah.
Or tighter, like you say.
Sure looks like Silvana wants the guard.
It's a little funny since their coach is also the head official, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's rare that you get that in a tournament.
I think it's one too early, isn't it? Put one close guard more.
Yeah, I like one more good guard, and then maybe with Alina's first you can draw and split the rings. So they've settled on the guard.
I feel like Alina was kind of explaining it, like saying, without saying it, it's very little area to stop if we're going to go in.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You know, you have when you're throwing the guard here, you have about a 3 or 4 foot margin of error with the weight.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're splitting the rings, you got to be within a foot.
Yeah.
So makes sense. Looks like it's a little hot though. They're not liking this early.
Into the house would be pretty bad.
They're calling an audible here, coming off the corner guard.
Good line call right there.
That's a good audible called by Alina Pats. That's why you never give up on a stone, kids. Yeah. Stick with it, and you can always make something happen that you might not be your plan A. And the result's just as good in this situation.
Yeah, like I told you, John, I do teach corporate curling, like team building beginner events every day.
Okay.
And some of the shots these guys make from angles you have never seen, right? Shots that are impossible.
Yeah.
In curling.
And they're sliding to the side of the boards.
Yeah. So nothing surprises me anymore.
Well, I got to say, Bumpy, it was sure a pleasure playing with you guys and with Thomas back in the day. We had lots of battles on the ice, but you guys always were good friends off the ice. And
likewise.
And, you know, it was obviously very heartbreaking to hear your old skip, Thomas, you know, passing away from cancer a few years ago. But, yeah, it was, I'm sure that you have a lot of good stories and good memories from playing with Thomas and those guys. And we sure do from our many years playing them on tour. So
absolutely, Thomas was one of the best, both on and off the ice, and it's missed dearly. And yeah, he came into the curling club every day, so he's in the walls there. So
yeah,
we have a big picture of him up on the wall, and feels like he's still in the building.
His spirit still lives on, eh? Yeah. How many years did you guys play together for?
12.
12, eh?
Yeah. A lot of silver medals.
Well, I remember playing you in. Had a great game against you in North Dakota.
Yep.
Bismarck.
Grand Forks.
Or Grand Forks, that's right, yeah. That was
student town.
That was a great world championship.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
I'll tell you a story of that one after this end.
Okay.
How that event started was pretty fun. Looks like Anna's trying to chase this with the interns, so there's about a quarter stone showing here, so she's trying to chase it with back ring just through.
Should be possible. I mean, they wrecked on that guard earlier, so it's curling hard there.
Seen that a few times. Is that a little bit more often than not here at this event, is that if you get that carving going a bit early, you can't save it. And that's a perfect example. That once that rock gets curling and you've helped it curl, it's really hard to save. So unfortunate for the Swedes. Now does it look like she's guarding, eh? Interesting. I thought she might come in there with a second one personally, because she has if she guards, she's still gonna leave the angle raised for 2.
Yeah.
And if she came in, you know, full buried top 4, top 8, I think that would put the
would have made it tougher for sure.
Yeah, interesting.
Maybe something not in full control of the ice or something, so they don't feel like they can come the other way. Maybe that corner guard, they feel that corner guard is a bit in the way of drawing to top 4 foot.
Oh, I guess if you put this here, then you have to make the other angle. But the other angle's still there.
Yeah, but you force her to do it, kind of, but it's there.
And I actually think it's just as easy.
Yeah,
you know, like it's less. There's less, you know, feet to travel. It's a bit more of an angle, but
it is.
I think it's about the same degree of difficulty if I was throwing that.
Yeah, at least for contact and score 1.
And Alina likes these, Anna likes these shots.
Yeah,
you know, she's definitely. This is in her bag of tricks, and she makes them, you know, more often than not, I'd say. Pivotal point in this game, though, being down a point with the hammer, and it's either going to be 4-2 or it could be, you know, 4-3 for Anna. So key shot here coming up.
saying close in Swedish. Close.
Pretty darn good. I think she'll be happy with that. She would have obviously loved the 2 points there, but a slight, maybe sweeping call misjudgment.
And Sarah apologizes. She said, sorry, Dana, for not sweeping that.
They just had to give that a few more licks, and that would have been a deuce. But they'll take the one. Keeps them right in this ball game, and it's probably 50-50 either way, that being 3-3 after 5. So.
Going undefeated through a national championship and being able to actually pull it off and win it is just an absolute dream come true.
Having 2 new junior players new to the team, Kibo and I really felt like our experience was what we had to bring out and share in that final day in Lethbridge. And drawing on our experience, we knew that the 2 older guys on the team, we kind of had to remain calm and act as leaders.
Trying to basically share the excitement and the joy that I have for the game and the passion with younger people, older people, people starting. That I would say is the biggest thing that I want to take for myself and show others is the love that I have for this sport.
Yeah, seeing Laurier continue to succeed and achieve amazing things is just so exciting. Whenever I check in and see how they're doing at U Sports and see them winning and succeeding, it's just so exciting. And I remember my time there so fondly, and I'm just so excited for the group that's there right now.
Some time to kill, want to ease a little tension, and we hit up the university bar, or one of them.
Of course they did.
And, there's maybe play some pool or play some darts, watch some sports. And we show up, and there's a special night. It was, because I think it was a random, like Wednesday or Thursday or something. So they're trying to obviously get more people in the bar, and they said it's gambling night with the bartender. So how it worked was, you ordered your round, and the bartender, when he brought your round, would bring dice. And you had to roll the dice against the bartender, 2 dice. And if you beat him, your round was free. And if he beat you, you had to just pay for the round. And I was like, oh man, this is the best deal ever.
It is.
So, and I think the drinks were maybe $3.
Yeah, student prices.
Cheap. So I remember that night we were, playing some games, playing some darts, and playing some pool, and all of a sudden, after 6 rounds and playing the bartender, we still hadn't lost. So we were half buckled, and we hadn't paid a cent yet, and we were like, oh, this is a pretty cool town. So I think we finally had to buy the last round,
as soon as you had to buy a round, you went home.
Yeah, we said that's enough. But no, that was our intro to Grand Forks, and that was quite a unique World Championship, because usually a lot of curling events, the average age in the stands at that time was maybe 50 or 60.
Yeah.
And I think that year it was more, especially in the patch, it was more in the 20-year-old range. So it was pretty cool.
I remember one of the nights on the final weekend, they had a local band playing. So it was like packed house with students.
Yeah, all young folks. You know what happened that night? Here's a sequel to that first story. Is that we were. Sometimes, and you can attest to this, when you go in the patch and you're a well-known curler, it's hard to really just enjoy having a drink with your friends.
You don't stand around by yourself.
No. So what I did with my 5th player at that one, I'm like, I kind of want to go check out this band, but I don't want to kind of get bugged too much by the fans. So
who was the 5th player? Adam
Enright. Yeah. So what I did is we put on. We went to the thrift store, and we got a wig, and we got sunglasses, a wig, and a real tight AC/DC shirt. So it looked like and then we put a hat on, we had mullets. So we had mullets, looked like we were just these from Skid Row, and it was awesome. First of all, they thought we were just these degenerate rednecks that were gone in there, but we got to we had a great time because we were having fun with it, right? So finally someone recognized us, and holy smokes, that's Johnny Moe and Adam. But that was back in the day when we were a bit more noticeable,
Knowledgeable, younger, it was easier to go out and play well the next day.
Yeah, that's hard to do. It's a little bit harder these days, isn't it? So we got lots of junk up front here in this 6N coming home. Tirinzoni's got the hammer again, tied 3-3. Big freeze coming up here for Agnes.
Yeah, and being 8 end games, it's pretty nice to score a point in this end.
Yeah, and it's anyone's end right now. If Agnes makes a good freeze here, I would say almost advantage Sweden. Pretty good spot. I'd say that might be a little bit lighter than they wanted, especially if you want to get 1 or 2 in there, but not a bad result. Tirinzoni is going to try to answer with a double peel to open things up.
So how do you think your team would do? Like if you took your team from 08, 09 and just put them on the ice here now?
Well, we'd need about a 2-week training camp for sweeping.
Yeah.
But if we were able to sweep, we still had Mark Kennedy and Ben Hebert, 2 of the best sweepers in the game. So I don't know. I think we'd still be able to compete. I have to say that team was special. Like they,
yeah, you were a great team.
That was the only team I've ever been on where all 4 members were dominant at their position and hated to lose.
Yeah.
We absolutely hated to lose, and we were ultra competitive. And it was, it kind of bonded us because, that, and it kind of, that it showed in the results. And Kevin, when Kevin was on, which was a lot of the time, he was all world. He would get on a level that I had a kind of saying that, just stay out of his way. Don Walchuk told me that one time, and so, Kevin will get in the zone and you just
say shit.
Don't screw it up here. Don't screw up this line call. So it was, it was pretty special to be part of. So I think we'd be able to compete. I'd love to.
Would have been fun to see, bringing old teams into this area.
Yeah,
and see with the sweeping and everything.
Ooh, that's a tough miss there by the Swiss.
Leave the guard as well.
I think that I was mentioning this with Brent earlier that back then, I'm talking about, let's say 7 years ago, 8 years ago and beyond, the onus was much more on the thrower. And
yeah.
So you
have to be more accurate, technical.
Yeah, I would say almost 90% of the shot was from the shot thrower and the line caller, and there's maybe a 10% influence more on weight than line for sweeping. And now I'd have to say it's almost 50%. And it's being a purist of the game and a more of a traditional. I think it's swayed too much, even with, these brooms. I think that it's just, and it's not as evident on the women's side. We've seen some misses today and some rocks that are unsalvageable, but definitely on the men's side, there's so much that the sweepers can do now that it's taken a bit of pressure or onus off the thrower, and I think that it would be nice to maybe see that a bit more back towards putting some pressure on that thrower a bit more. Hard to really figure out how to do that because one of the other reasons too is look at the sweepers now.
Yeah.
They're in the gym 7 days a week.
Big, strong, fit.
Exactly. So that's another difference than it used to be. But so it is hard to compare the great teams from before to now because the game has changed so much.
Yeah. But also we may have had forbidden material in our rooms without knowing it, all of us.
Yeah, you betcha.
So how much impact did we really have?
Yeah, true. Exactly. We were using hair brooms and didn't even know what they could do.
Yeah.
I still laugh at that in-off Jennifer Jones made if you watch the replay. by today's standards.
Yep.
They were trying to make it stay straight and yell and sweep, and by today's standards, that would have been making the raw curl.
Right. That's a lot of shots through the year, so you can look back at and wow.
Yeah.
It's also 99 men's final world championship. Jeff Stoughton, Hammy McMillan Sr.
Yeah.
He's playing a draw for the win in the extra end, I believe. And his sweepers, they were always sweeping on the same side, both of them.
That's right.
Like Big Pete. Fortunately for this shot, it's an out turn, and they're all
on the right side,
sweeping towards the curl the whole way, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're keeping it straight. And I see John Mead in the background with his stopwatch, starting to kind of celebrate because he sees that this is too light. They're keeping it. It curls like half a foot, maybe a foot, the whole way because it's so straight for them from them sweeping, and then they make it there. Big hammer brooms, big Scottish guys.
Peter Loudon, right?
Yeah,
that's right. I remember seeing highlights of that game. That was, Hammy was on fire that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game sure changed. But, you know, it's nice we're seeing just as many fans as we've had in the past.
Yeah.
I guess when you're seeing more Roxon play in high percentage curling, it's hard to complain too much about the way the game's played. I think it's, you know, we're doing something right.
Yeah.
So the Swedes have a decision to make here. There's been a few misses by the 30er for Tirinzoni. She kind of jammed the first one or the second one and missed the double peel on the first one. So it's now given Sweden an opportunity to really put the pressure on. And I think they're going to try to come in here to lie too. And could really put some heat on Alina. She'd have to see what she can pull out of her bag of tricks here in this sixth end, because it's, as you said, a vital end that you want to score.
Yeah.
So I think that obviously Swiss not feeling great about how this end's gone and trying to just salvage a way that they can score a point here.
I'm not sure how much you could see of that red-yellow combination on the top of the house there.
Yeah, that might be their only out, but that's risky. Like you see 1 inch of that stone, and if you miss it, it's
trouble. Yep.
It's looking good for line. They're on and off it. I think they like the weight. Definitely. I don't know why they didn't sweep that.
No, that a little strange. Must have been much better to get that past.
Why were they not sweeping that? They got off it at the front guard, and it just tickled that first one. So
now Sarah is actually apologizing again. She said I should have swept that. So.
Yeah, that's a pretty massive mistake, because now the angle, if that gets by, even if you tap it to the back four and you're frozen on that back one, you are in position A. You know, like, no way you can get rid of both those reds. But with that just touching that first, it now changes that angle significantly, and not only opens up that stone to be hit, but also potentially allows for both these reds to be removed. So quite an error, an unforced error there by Anna, where she threw that pretty good. Like, I think she deserved a better result than that.
Definitely. I think it might even be like a soft double here to set 3.
So a big shot for Alina Patzer on her first shot in the sixth end. Trying to get as close to this guard with about control, normal weight. Close.
Easy.
There they go. Well, now how the end can change.
Dramatically quick, yeah. Probably have to freeze that back one now to get out of trouble. We are talking about different options. Drawing shot, hitting and rolling, or freezing in the back.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of, if you can make that freeze, I think that's the play, but with that stone being there now, it makes that freeze a little bit more challenging.
Yep.
So I think it looks like they're playing this hit and roll now, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely curl so hard there, so you might over curl if you go in between.
Yeah. And then it gives them the in off for the 2 or 3 or back to Alina. Walk us through what they're talking about here if you can. Looks like they got a timeout called, or at least they're going to get together.
They're going to talk about it again, yeah. They're saying that they have played that hit and roll earlier, either in this end or a former end, so they know that path better. But their first thought was the back freeze,
and they just threw that draw too. So you think that they'd be pretty confident, and pretty close with. It's almost the same shot that she just threw. Yeah. The only challenge is if it does over curl about 6 inches, it will be buried, but it'll allow for a potential in off.
Sarah says she loves both. Anna says I like the hit and roll.
So they're opting with the hit and roll here. High pressure shot here for Anna Hasselborg. It's a kind of an all or nothing. There's, you don't want to nose this, and if you roll too far, it gives her the wide open draw for 3. So big shot here for Anna. Got to roll about a foot or 2 with her shooter. No, overcooked it. We've seen this song and dance before, Bumpy.
A few times down that path.
A bit of early panic, and
it's like they can't really believe how much it's curling at the end. So
yeah, they're just on it too early, aren't they? They gotta have a bit more patience on those, it looks like. So I think Anna's obviously showing a bit of frustration out there. She's thrown some really good rocks, and I know for being a skip and playing third, there's nothing worse than when you throw it real well, but you don't get a result. Based on the way you've managed the stones. So I can understand her frustration.
That opened the door for a pretty easy one for Switzerland.
Melina makes her pay, no mistake with that draw for 3. A critical 3 points in the 6th end of this game puts Switzerland and Tirinzoni up 6-3 with 2 ends left to play. We'll see you shortly.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Well, to the 7th end here now. Tirinzoni with a big 3 points in that 6 to take a commanding 6-3 lead. Johnny Moe here with special guest Christopher Sva, aka Bumpy, in from Norway. And yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. And
thanks for having me, John. Yeah, it's nice to catch up. And like I said, I haven't been to a major curling event in quite some time, so I think I'm going to go and watch last couple ends ringside
Go
with,
and go
with the fans, smell the ice, you know.
Enjoy the show, man, and maybe we'll see you on the karaoke stage later on. If any fans are listening here and they're in the GTA area, you're going to be in for a treat with this Grand Slam of karaoke being starting at about 10 or 10:30 at the Marriott tonight. So,
yeah, sounds amazing.
Yeah, thanks for coming, buddy. Great
Cheers.
seeing you and great catching up.
Yeah, see you later.
You betcha.
Thanks, guys.
So it looks like you guys are just stuck with me now. I'll do my best to give you every different aspect of the game here. And I know the Team Hasselborg is going to want to come back with be pushing hard for a 2, at the very least a 2, and with any luck a 3, just to get themselves back in the ball game. Interesting strategy with that first Redstone. They threw a center guard. Not quite exactly sure why they did that, but now going with the more traditional corner guard on the second one.
Jetzt kann sie auch den Corner für uns nicht mehr spielen da.
So a couple options here for Sylvana's team. They can throw it through, which it looks like they're doing. They can, yeah, so they're taking the conservative way out and just wanting to keep it simpler here in this end and not cluttering up the house as much as they can. So they're throwing it through in a pretty good position with that center stone that Hasselborg put up there. So
he attended the Briar in Kelowna, the World Men's Championship in Moose Jaw, and now the Players in Toronto. Our friends at Hearing Life wanted to say thank you for your support of our great sport, especially being here this week. And they want to give you these great gift bags, awesome goodies in there. Those are from Hearing Life. So thank you for your dedication. We hope you enjoy yourself. Hearing Life, love your ears. Thank you so much.
pretty good result there. They got chipped that one off the 8-foot to open it up. And rolled somewhat buried with their shooter. Looks like Team Tirinzoni will still have the relatively easy hit and roll out just to keep it simple out here. Mission accomplished by Carroll. Trying to freeze here now, and kind of a tough port to navigate. They have these staggered guards that are not really working out well for them. They've had trouble navigating that port twice now. Sweden is starting to leak some oil after. Usually an end will do that to you when it ends the way the last one did, when they kind of had it the whole end and then let them off the hook. And what you're seeing here now is they're kind of deflated and demotivated playing this end. And it's hard to come back after an end like that, and we'll see how the Team Hasselborg can bounce back. They're going to need a 2 or a 3 here to keep themselves in the game. Well, there's a couple double peels available here, but I think Aline is just trying to keep with the simple peel, just get rid of one. Mission accomplished. Even sticks the shooter just for bonus points. So Team Sweden going to try a hit and roll here now that this rock is a bit more exposed. They're going to try to hit and roll behind this corner guard and bring that corner guard into play. Oh, they've made an audible. Looks like they're freezing again. This one looks like a bit of an easier freeze because of the way the guards have been moved. Now there's a bit more room between that hole. A little heavy there, and unfortunately rolls off. Sweden really kind of struggling to make great shots here this end. They're kind of making twos where you need fours right now. Silvana looking to hit this on the nose or maybe roll in about a foot. Keep the pressure on these, on the Swedes. Nice silky in-turn you just saw there. Perfect shot for Silvana. Sweden sure got their work cut out for them now. I'd be almost inclined to play this run triple. Open things up, and at this point you almost want to just try to score, somehow get a skips deuce out of this. We've got a final here on sheet A. Bruce Mowat and the boys from Scotland are somehow keeping her going, and they're into the final here tomorrow to continue their unbelievable year they've had. Beating up on Jacob 6-2 tonight. That's our first final of the night. Pretty good showing for Team Jacobs without having two of their members on the squad here this week. having Connor Mugovin and Tyler Tardy subbing in. I think they'll be pretty happy with a semi-final result here at the Players. Swedes are looking, they're probably going to need a miracle here after the way this end's been shaken down. They haven't made too many, and Swiss's Alina's got a chance here to really put the nail in the coffin with a little hit and roll here to lie 4 buried. Looking pretty close. Not a bad result. Not perfect, but still a pretty big advantage for the Swiss here. But these Swedes, I don't think they're going to give up. They got lots of heart, and they're going to be playing hard here. So still looking at ways they can get a deuce out of this. And we've got another final for you. Sheet C, the hometown favorite, Rachel Holman, laid the smackdown tonight on Team Kim, 9-3. Brought their A game tonight. They're into the final, much to the joy of the sold-out crowd here tonight at the Mattamy Center. A great showing for Kim from Korea. They've had a strong year, and they're continually making playoffs and going deep into events, so I think they'll be happy with that. Now Holman will be sitting on the sidelines watching to see who they're going to be playing in the final. All signs are pointing towards another Holman-Tirinzoni battle, but we still have a little bit of rocks to go in this game to really finalize that one. So Anna trying a tap back here on this to create a little pocket, but it's curling a bit too much early, and this is Danger Bay. It's been a struggle here tonight for the Swedes.
Kriegen wir dort in dieser Linie, oder? Die Frage ist, ob wir so spielen, Tiri, ob es einfacher ist, zum Guard machen. So. Ja. Es muss ja nicht ins Haus sein, kannst ja auch einen Guard machen. Können wir auch machen, oder? Wenn wir da ein bisschen weg sind, dann ja. 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 Nein, schau, das Nasse wäre ja nicht so, das Nasse wäre nicht so schlimm, oder? Aber dann haben sie aber einen, aber auch jetzt so ganz wichtig. Jetzt kommt ein Stanni. Gleich wie vorher, ein Stanni. Komm, ein Stanni. Ich habe das Gefühl, ich hätte einen Touch mehr Eis genommen, ja.
So it looks like Alina's chosen to hit this stone and maybe roll in, and I think if she makes this, it's pretty much lights out for Team Sweden. Yowza. That is a scary looking house if you're red. I honestly don't know if you can get a point. If you had 100 shots, you're trying 100 different ways to get a point. I'm not sure there's a way to get a point here. The only thing I see is an out-turn tap on that corner guard Then it'll take the in-turn spin, and it can potentially tap it to that edge of the button. Probably one of those that are about 1 in 50, maybe 1 in 100. Or you might see a spinner. You might see a patented Swedish spinner here. And if you get tight to that corner guard with perfect weight and a lot of spin, it might just finish in time. So this could be an interesting shot. Yeah, here it comes. The old helicopter from Anna Hasselborg. Crowd's loving it. This would bring the house down if it's actually made. It looks like it's close. Got to get by this corner. Oh, it was actually. Well, it'll be interesting to see where this ends up. It was actually really close. And there you have it. An entertaining game. The final score is Tirinzoni 1 million and Hasselborg 3 after that last inning. I think she got a bundle. But good way to end it. Nice lightheartedness from Anna Hasselborg and their team. And that sets your final tomorrow morning. We got Team Tirinzoni from Switzerland against Team Homan from Canada. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you again.